Detective Hercule Poirot? Ah, Chief Commissioner. On the contrary, it is a most convenient time. The safe passage of a painting? Tell me everything. If man was meant to travel the oceans in such conditions, he would surely have been given his own fins. A distraction is what one needs. Where is that blasted contact? How is one to prepare for an assignment if one does not have all of the required information? Very well. I shall wait no longer.
Beautiful, isn't she?
Pardon, monsieur?
The open water. There really is nothing quite like her.
When one suffers from the mal de mer, the beauty, as you say, is rather more a burden.
Forgive me, I just can't imagine being scared of the ocean in this day and age. The potential to see the world is open to even the ordinary man like us.
I can assure you, monsieur, it is not a matter of being scared. And as for ordinary...
I didn't mean to offend, mister.
I am...
Forgive me, madame.
No harm done. Accidents happen. My cigarette case, where is it?
I didn't see.
You thought I wouldn't notice? A young lady traveling alone. An easy target for you, I bet.
I'm sure the young lady would appreciate the help of two handsome strangers.
Oh. Aha. Oh. The young lady should not be left to gather her own things.
You are returning home?
I am.
Besides your educated accent, the crest that adorns your cigarette case?
Very observant. It's the crest of my family. Miss Florence Farquhar, a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
The pleasure is ours.
That looks like everything. Except
Is this what you're looking for?
it is. Thank you.
Miss Babanin.
Anastasia. What a beautiful name.
It was my grandmother's.
Well, that's everything now.
I'd be happy to escort you.
Oh, yes. Okay, Anastasia. Perhaps I can offer you a token of my gratitude in the bar.
That would...
And you.
Detective Hercule Poirot, at your service.
A detective? I was not expecting to meet such a distinguished
I did not expect to meet someone of Russian descent on a ship between the great city of Antwerp and Dover.
I never mentioned where I was from either.
One did not have to. Anastasia, of Russian origin meaning resurrection.
And here was me thinking I was special.
Your knowledge of my heritage is most impressive.
And I'll take that as my cue to leave.
It seems it's just us remaining.
I would very much like to hear stories from your homeland.
As charming as that would be, I'm feeling rather tired.
Then I shall leave you to your slumber. As much as I enjoyed the delights of the restaurant, I still found my mind. I have spent the first part of this excursion neglecting my duties. It's time to retrieve. The combination was not a difficult one to remember. 1850. Ah. Et voilà. One cannot ignore such a blood-curdling scream.
My mother's cigarette case! It's gone! How?
Mademoiselle, I ask that you take a moment to calm.
You're a detective! Of course! What luck!
As luck would have it. Now, I require as many details of the crime as you can offer.
I came to my cabin and began unpacking. I couldn't get the safe working, but the gentleman that helped me with my luggage showed me how it... Afterwards, I went for a brief walk, and when I returned, the safe was open.
We must consider the suspect list. Those who were aware of the
That can only be those who were up on the deck when my luggage spilled. Miss Babanyin?
And your helpful stranger.
Yes, of course.
I ask that you gather them for me. And while you are absent, I shall begin my investigation in here.
Whatever you need to do to find it.
Huh. Aha. Huh.
Mademoiselle, I thought you would be returning with the gentleman also.
The gentleman wanted to speak to the porter alone, but
I was unaware he is also a detective.
he's not a policeman. He works in a...
It appears I shall be spending my time chasing amateur detectives around the ship.
Mademoiselle, I would like to start with who had access to the safe combination.
No one. It was in a sealed envelope that I memorized it and threw the paper overboard. 4-3.
A similar envelope was waiting for me upon my arrival. The date of the Battle of Waterloo, as I recall.
After the gentleman helped me with the safe, he let...
If the mysterious gentleman is behind the theft, he went to great lengths to hide his fingerprints, but did little to hide. There are many questions that require answers. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Mademoiselle Babagnan, I'm sorry we must continue our conversation.
I'm afraid I've done very little, actually, after we parted ways.
Alone?
That is a rather personal question, don't you think? I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. A poor attempt at a joke.
There is no need to be nervous.
And then...
You have been most helpful.
Huh. Huh. Aha.
Mademoiselle Farquhar, I shall have your cigarette.
I hope... You caught me, reading my own art.
I must say you raise a very interesting point. Art should...
Thank you.
Huh.
I'm sorry, but it's just not acceptable, Mark.
I've apologized to the lady.
And that makes it...
It was an accident.
An accident that could have been avoided if you had...
Gentlemen, you are behaving like two young boys in the schoolyard.
Oh.
Is Mademoiselle Farquhar aware you are acting as her knight in shining armor?
I wouldn't go as far as that. I think perhaps I'm Arthur Hastings. Would...
She requested you to follow her to her cabin, no?
Oh, yes, she did, but I wanted to...
Speak with the porter privately? This was part...
Well, I'm not a detective. I was...
Then perhaps you will answer some questions that are vital to my...
What can I do? It is. Is my employment relevant to Miss Farquhar's missing cigarette?
I hope you will entertain me for a moment. What would you say the chances...
Well, a report from a detective like yourself will certainly help expedite her...
As I thought. It had perhaps not crossed her mind before. But being amongst an officer of the law and an insurance man, the idea of...
When Florence, Miss Farquhar, told me that something had gone missing from her safe,
How so?
I'd rather not say with him standing just...
It is not I that controls the volume of your voice.
You must have noticed the smell of beer on his breath. I wouldn't put it past a man that drinks on the job.
That is quite the accusation. And if you were correct, you wished to...
I wanted to give... I'm what some would call a middleman. I oversee the handling of recently sold items and put the buyer in contact with an appropriate...
The mention of insurance initially sparked my attention. But the more he talks of his work, I believe he may be my mysterious contact from Lloyd's of London. It was your work that took you to Belgium?
I can't go into too many details, but I'm actually delivering a rather special piece of... I'm meant to be meeting an official of some sorts that's supposed to be helping me, but...
And it is confirmed. It concerns me that my supposed trusted colleague has found himself involved in the middle of my... I will continue... Merci.
This really is an exciting case.
Your enthusiasm... Perhaps you and I can have a more civilized discussion.
I'll tell you the same as I told your friend.
Intimidation is not my forte. What is uncovering the identity...
And that's me.
That is...
Who said anything about drinking alcohol?
It does not take a detective to identify the distinct...
I was in the cargo hold, cutting something with my knife, and it slipped. No harm done.
I'm not quite sure you understand what that means.
So now I am a stupid and a drunk?
Do you have the knife in question on your person now?
I don't. He stole it and won't return it.
What can I do for you?
Oh. Oh.
Magnifique!
You found one, detective? Oh, how exciting! You could ask me anything. Am I to be used as...
I would not dare compare you to a guinea.
The answer is yes.
Of course. Whatever you... Insured? Oh no, why would I have it insured?
Anything of substantial monetary value.
I'll stop... Not for a second. At least not with my permission. You probably think this silly, naive woman has left her valuables out, or I've just misplaced...
It had not...
Yes, I'm really quite excited about...
You have been invited to a preview at the Royal Edward Gallery. A small world indeed.
Will you be in attendance? It's actually one of the reasons I was lucky enough to have a sneak peek at some of the pieces on show. Allô?
Look. Where is the sense in that? The piece pieces of the puzzle are fine. Is there something I... Some would say a lucky guess. I should consider this. Order and method. I must act on thought. Things are beginning to be... Logical thinking shall always... I must consider the suspects I have in front of me. He is keen to impress Mademoiselle Farquhar and claims that he... Mark Allard, the porter. Evidence suggests a rather amateur attempt to break it, but it was just a ruse. The safe was opened quite masterfully. Mademoiselle Babagnan, a new friend to Mademoiselle... I cannot see a motive besides the obvious value of the cigarette case. Perhaps the best thing for me would be to return to my cabin to think. I fear my...
Ah, detective. How goes the investigation?
A good detective. Better yet, a great detective.
She found it! Miss Babagnan found it!
I was on my way to speak with the captain when I saw something shining and...
Strange that it was not spotted earlier by any one of us while on the...
Maybe the thief was scared and dumped it for fear of being caught red-handed.
Miss Babagnan, Anastasia, you saved the day. And you, of course, detective.
I find Mademoiselle Babagna's explanation of finding the cigarette case rather coincidental. The cigarette case has been returned and the coast is in sight, which is what is important. Although, there still remains a part of me that...
I suppose you can chalk that up as a victory.
A victory for Mademoiselle Farquhar, but not in the eyes...
Well, if anyone asks, I'll confirm what a splendid job you did.
Very kind. While we are on the matter of truth, Monsieur Arthur Hastings, you are here...
How on earth?
You are aware of my employment, but not of my true identity.
Wait, are you the official that I was supposed to have met on board?
Oui, monsieur. Please, accept my apologies for keeping my true identity hidden. But when it comes to the nature of our work, trust must be earned.
A little unorthodox, but I suppose I understand. So...
It continues to grow.
Well, we have a couple of weeks before the gala, so hopefully by then you'll trust...
One can hope.